You've watched 100 motivational videos.
You've read the quotes. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You've saved them. Maybe you even wrote one in your notebook.
And tomorrow morning, you woke up, and nothing was different.
Same alarm, same 15 minutes of scrolling before you even sat up. Same, I'll start on Monday.
Here's the truth nobody tells you. Motivation doesn't change your life. It never did. It gives you a feeling for 20 minutes, and then the feeling leaves. And you're still you, in the same room with the same habits.
So if you clicked on this video hoping for another 20 minutes of feeling good, I need to warn you now. That's not what this is.
This is different, because today, we're not just going to talk about change. We're going to build the actual English you need to think about your life differently, to plan it, to describe it, to talk yourself into it in a new language. And by the end, you'll have new vocabulary, new grammar, and maybe, just maybe, a new way of seeing tomorrow morning.
Stay with us. This one's worth the full hour and a half.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fluent Daily, the podcast where we help you think in English, not just learn it.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Jamie, and today's episode is a big one, both in topic and in length. We're calling it, This Video Will Change Your Life. And yes, we know that's a bold title.
It's a title you've probably seen 100 times on YouTube, and usually it's a lie.
Right. So today we're doing something a little different. We're not going to promise you magic. Instead, we're going to teach you the real English tools, the vocabulary, the grammar, the sentence patterns that people who actually change their lives use to think, to plan, and to talk about their goals.
Because here's something interesting. The words you use shape the way you think. If you only know how to say, I want to, but you don't know how to say, I've committed to, or I'm in the process of, your thinking stays small. Your English grows, your possibilities grow.
So today's episode is structured in 5 parts. First, we'll talk about why change is so hard, with a natural conversation full of useful vocabulary. Second, a deep vocabulary breakdown of words for habits, mindset, and growth. Third, a grammar focus on some very powerful structures, conditionals, present perfect, and modals of possibility. Fourth, pronunciation practice, because saying these words with confidence matters just as much as knowing them. And finally, homework, real tasks to actually start using this English in your own life.
If you're at an A2 to B2 level, this episode is built exactly for you. We'll explain everything simply, repeat key ideas, and give you plenty of examples.
Get comfortable, grab some water. This is a long one, around 100 minutes, because we want this to feel like a real, deep class, not a quick 5-minute clip.
Let's get into it. The conversation. Why change is so hard.
So Sophie, let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever made a big promise to yourself? Like, this year I'm really going to change, and then just not done it?
Oh, constantly. Every January 1st, I write a list. New habits, new routines, a better version of me. By January 15th, the list is in a drawer somewhere.
That's so relatable, and I think a lot of our listeners feel exactly the same way. Not just about life goals, but about learning English too. How many times have you told yourself, I'm going to study every single day? And by day 4, you've already skipped 2 days.
Right, and then the guilt kicks in. You feel like you fail, so you just stop completely. It's easier to quit than to feel bad about missing a day.
Exactly. And that's actually the first big idea we want to explore today. Change doesn't fail because people are lazy. It fails because people misunderstand how change actually works.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. Most people think change is an event, like, on Monday I will become a person who exercises. But real change is a process. It's slow. It's built from small, repeated actions, and it doesn't feel dramatic at all in the moment.
So it's less like flipping a switch and more like growing a plant.
That's a perfect comparison. You don't see a plant grow while you're staring at it, but if you water it every day and you check on it a month later, it's completely different. Change in your life and change in your English works the exact same way.
I like that. So when someone says, this video will change your life, what they should really be saying is,
this video will give you a tool. What you do with that tool every day for the next few months, that's what will change your life.
That's much more honest.
It is. Now let's talk about a concept psychologists talk about a lot, the difference between motivation and discipline.
Motivation is that exciting feeling, right? Like when you watch an inspiring video and you suddenly want to run 5 kilometers and read 10 books.
Exactly. Motivation is emotional. It comes and it goes, often within hours. Discipline, on the other hand, is the ability to do something even when you don't feel motivated.
So discipline is doing your English lesson even when you're tired and you'd rather watch a show.
Precisely. And here's the encouraging part. Discipline isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill. It's built through small, repeated actions, just like a muscle.
That actually makes me feel better. I always thought some people were just naturally disciplined and I wasn't one of them.
Nobody is naturally disciplined for everything. A person might have amazing discipline with their finances, but zero discipline with their diet. It's not about your identity. It's about your systems.
Systems? Like routines?
Right. A system is the structure around a habit. For example, instead of saying, I will study English more, a system might be, every morning after I make coffee, I will listen to one FluentDaily episode before I check my phone.
That's so specific.
That's the point. Vague goals produce vague results. Specific systems produce real change.
Okay, I want to bring up something else. The idea of the fresh start. Why do we always want to start big changes on a Monday or the first of the month or New Year's Day?
That's called the fresh start effect. Our brains like to separate our old self from our new self using a clear line. A new week, a new month, a birthday. It feels symbolic.
But is it actually helpful?
It can be, a little. It gives you a psychological boost, but it becomes a problem when we use it as an excuse to delay. I'll start eating better on Monday often really means I don't want to start today.
Oh, that hits close to home.
The most useful mindset shift is this. You don't need a perfect moment to start. You need a small, imperfect action taken today.
So even if it's 8 at night and you've had a chaotic day, you could still open your English notebook for 5 minutes.
5 minutes today is more powerful than a perfect plan that starts next Monday, because 5 minutes today builds momentum, and momentum over weeks becomes identity.
Identity? What do you mean by that?
This is one of my favorite ideas. There's a difference between having a goal and having an identity. If your goal is, I want to speak fluent English, every day you don't feel fluent, you feel like you're failing. But if your identity is, I am someone who studies English every day, then simply showing up is already a success, regardless of the outcome that day.
So instead of saying, I want to lose weight, a person could say, I am someone who moves my body every day.
Exactly. And instead of, I want to speak English fluently, you say, I am a person who practices English daily. The action becomes part of who you are, not just something you're chasing.
That's a small change in language, but it feels like a big change in mindset.
That's the whole idea behind today's episode. Small language shifts creating big mindset shifts. Let's talk about one more important concept before we move to vocabulary, the 2-minute rule.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's simple. When you want to build a new habit, shrink it down until it takes less than 2 minutes. Read before bed becomes read 1 page. Exercise daily becomes put on your workout shoes. Vocabulary breakdown.
Let's go word by word. For each one, we'll give the meaning, a simple example, and a note on how it's actually used in real conversation.
First word, habit. A habit is something you do regularly, almost automatically, often without thinking about it.
Example, checking my phone first thing in the morning became a habit I wanted to break.
Notice the phrase break a habit. We don't say stop a habit, we say break a habit. And when you start a new one, we say build a habit or form a habit.
So I'm trying to break the habit of skipping breakfast and build the habit of drinking more water.
Perfect. Next word, discipline. This is the ability to control your behavior and make yourself do things even when it's difficult or you don't feel like it.
As a noun, she has incredible discipline. She studies every single day, even on weekends. As a verb, we can say to discipline yourself to do something.
I disciplined myself to wake up at 6 every morning.
Next, momentum. This is a word borrowed from physics, but we use it constantly for personal growth. It means the energy or force that keeps something moving once it has started.
Once I finished the first chapter, I had so much momentum that I finished the whole book in a week.
So it's about how starting something creates the energy to continue it.
Exactly. And a common phrase is build momentum or lose momentum if you stop.
Next word, consistency. Being consistent means doing something the same way again and again over time.
Her consistency is what makes her English so strong. She studies 30 minutes daily, no matter what.
The adjective is consistent. I'm not always fast, but I'm consistent.
Next, identity. Your identity is who you are, your sense of self, including your beliefs, values, and how you see yourself.
Learning English became part of my identity, not just a task on my to-do list.
Next, fresh start. This describes a new beginning, often connected to a symbolic date, like a new year, a new month, or a birthday.
I decided my 30th birthday would be a fresh start. New job, new city, new habits.
Next word, procrastinate. This means to delay doing something, usually something important, often by doing less important things instead.
I procrastinated on writing my essay by cleaning my entire apartment instead.
So funny how that always happens. Suddenly, cleaning becomes very interesting when you have real work to do.
The noun form is procrastination. Procrastination is my biggest enemy when it comes to studying.
Next, overwhelmed. This means feeling like you have too much to deal with, too many tasks, too many emotions, too much information.
I felt so overwhelmed by my to-do list that I didn't know where to start.
This is a really important word for English learners specifically, because a lot of you feel overwhelmed by grammar rules or vocabulary lists.
If that's you, it's completely normal. Overwhelmed doesn't mean you're not capable. It just means you need to slow down and break things into smaller pieces.
Which brings us to our next word, break down. As a phrasal verb, this means to divide something big into smaller, more manageable parts.
Let's break down this goal into smaller weekly tasks.
We're literally using this phrase right now. This whole segment is called the vocabulary breakdown.
That's true. Next word, commit. To commit to something means to fully dedicate yourself to it, often making a serious promise.
I've committed to speaking only English for 1 hour every day.
The noun is commitment. This course requires a serious commitment of time and energy.
Next, sustainable. This describes something that can continue over a long period of time without causing harm or running out of energy.
Studying for 12 hours a day isn't sustainable. You'll burn out.
Which leads perfectly to our next word, burnout. This is the extreme state of physical or mental exhaustion, usually caused by long-term stress or overworking.
After months of working every weekend, she experienced serious burnout.
Burnout is actually a big danger when people try to change their lives too fast. They go from 0 to 100, and after 2 weeks, they're exhausted and quit completely.
That's why sustainable, small habits are so much more powerful than dramatic, unsustainable ones.
Next word, accountability. This means being responsible for your actions and their results, and often having someone check on your progress.
Having a study partner gave me accountability. I didn't want to disappoint her.
The adjective is accountable. I hold myself accountable by tracking my progress every week.
Next, milestone. A milestone is an important point or stage in a process, a marker of progress.
Finishing my first English conversation without translating in my head was a huge milestone for me.
Next word, mindset. This is your general attitude or way of thinking about something.
A growth mindset means believing you can improve with effort, instead of thinking your abilities are fixed forever.
That word fixed gives us our next term, fixed mindset versus growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes talent and intelligence are unchangeable. A growth mindset believes they can be developed.
I used to have a fixed mindset about languages. I thought I just wasn't good at them. Now I have a growth mindset, and I actually enjoy the process of improving.
Beautiful example, and very relevant for everyone listening right now.
Next, setback. This is a problem or difficulty that stops your progress or makes things worse temporarily.
Getting sick for 2 weeks was a setback in my study routine, but I didn't let it stop me completely.
The important thing about setbacks is that they're normal. They don't erase your progress. They're just part of the process.
Next word, resilience. This is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, to bounce back after something hard.
Her resilience amazed me. After failing the exam, she studied even harder and passed the second time.
Related phrase, bounce back. It took me a week to bounce back after that disappointing test result.
Next, self-discipline versus self-doubt. Self-discipline we already covered. Self-doubt is when you don't trust your own abilities or decisions.
Self-doubt kept telling me I'd never speak English confidently, but I kept practicing anyway.
Next word, intentional. Doing something intentionally means doing it purposefully with clear awareness, not by accident.
I'm being more intentional about my time. I plan my English practice instead of hoping I'll find time for it.
The opposite would be doing something passively or by accident.
Next, prioritize. This means to treat something as more important than other things and to give it your attention first.
I've started prioritizing my English lessons over checking social media in the morning.
Next word, long-term versus short-term. These describe time. Long-term refers to a longer period in the future. Short-term refers to the near future.
Short-term, learning a language feels slow. Long-term, it completely changes your opportunities.
Great pairing. Last one for this section, transform. This means to change completely, often in a very positive or dramatic way.
Daily practice can transform your confidence in English, even if progress feels slow day to day.
The noun is transformation. Her transformation over the year wasn't about talent, it was about consistency.
Wonderful. That's 20 powerful words and phrases, all connected to change, growth, and mindset. Let's do a quick recap before we move to grammar.
Quick recap. Habit, discipline, momentum, consistency, identity, fresh start, procrastinate, overwhelmed, breakdown, commit, sustainable, burnout, accountability, milestone, mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset, setback, resilience, self-doubt, intentional, prioritize, long-term, short-term, and transform.
If you want to really lock these words into memory, try this. Pick 5 of them right now and write one sentence about your own life using each one. Real, personal sentences, not generic examples.
That's actually a great transition, because now we're going to look at the grammar that lets you build these sentences properly, especially when you're talking about change, plans, and possibilities. Grammar focus, talking about change, plans, and possibility.
So Sophie, if we want to talk about changing our lives, we need grammar that does 3 things. Talk about what we've done so far, talk about what we plan to do, and talk about what could happen if we do it.
That's present perfect, future forms, and conditionals. Let's take them one at a time, starting with present perfect.
Present perfect. We form it with have, has, plus past participle. We use it to talk about experiences or actions that started in the past and still connect to now.
Example, I have studied English for 3 years. Notice we don't say a specific finished time like yesterday or in 2020. Present perfect connects the past to right now.
Compare these two. I studied English last year. That's simple past, finished, disconnected from now. Versus, I have studied English for 3 years. Still happening, still connected to today.
Another common use, talking about life changes or achievements. I've built a new morning routine. She's changed so much this year. We've made real progress.
Try this with me, Sophie. Give me a present perfect sentence about a change in your own life.
I've started waking up an hour earlier, and it's completely changed my mornings.
Perfect structure. Notice I've started. Present perfect for the change that began and continues, and then it's changed. Same pattern.
Your turn.
I've stopped checking my phone right when I wake up, and I've noticed I feel calmer.
Great. 2 present perfect verbs, stopped and noticed, both connecting past action to present result.
Now let's move to conditionals. Probably the most powerful grammar for talking about change, because conditionals let us imagine different versions of our future.
Let's start with the first conditional. This is for real, likely possibilities. Structure, if plus present simple, dot will plus base verb.
If I practice English every day, I will improve faster. If you don't sleep enough, you will feel tired tomorrow.
This conditional is about realistic cause and effect, things that could genuinely happen.
Now the second conditional. This one's for imagined, hypothetical, or unlikely situations. Structure, if plus past simple, dot would plus base verb.
If I had more free time, I would learn a 3rd language. If she moved abroad, she would improve her English much faster.
Notice, even though we use past simple grammar, had, moved, we're not talking about the past at all. We're imagining a different present or future.
This confuses a lot of learners, so let's repeat it clearly. Second conditional, past tense form, but present or future meaning. It describes something imagined, not something that already happened.
Let's practice. Sophie, give me a second conditional sentence about a life change you imagine.
If I quit my job tomorrow, I would travel for 6 months. That's not realistic right now, it's imagined.
Nice. Mine, if I woke up at 5 every day, I would have so much extra time for myself. Also imagined, a hypothetical version of my life.
Now the third conditional, for imagined situations in the past that didn't actually happen. Structure, if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle.
If I had started earlier, I would have finished the course by now. This describes regret or reflection on a past choice that's already over.
If she had practiced speaking more, she would have felt more confident in the interview.
This conditional is really useful for reflecting honestly on your past choices without judging yourself too harshly, just noticing the pattern.
Let's move to modals of possibility, words like can, could, might, may, because these help us talk about what's possible for our future without being too certain or too vague.
Can expresses general ability or possibility. You can change your habits with consistent effort.
Could expresses a weaker possibility or a suggestion. You could try studying in the morning instead of at night.
Might and may express uncertainty about the future. If you keep this up, you might surprise yourself in 6 months. She may not notice progress every day, but it's happening.
These modals are wonderful for realistic, hopeful language, not promising guaranteed results, but opening the door to possibility.
Let's also talk about used to, because it's perfect for describing old habits you no longer have, which connects beautifully to today's topic.
I used to skip breakfast every day. He used to procrastinate constantly, but now he plans his week every Sunday.
Structure, used to plus base verb for past habits that are now different. Compare it to be used to, which is different. That means being accustomed to something.
I used to hate mornings, past habit now changed, versus I'm used to waking up early now, accustomed to it currently.
Great distinction. One more. Let's talk about the structure be going to versus will for future plans.
I'm going to start a new habit tomorrow. This describes a decided plan, something you've already thought about.
I'll start a new habit tomorrow. With will, this can describe a more spontaneous decision, made in the moment.
Both are correct, but the feeling is slightly different. Going to feels planned. Will can feel more instant or promised.
Let's do a mini practice round. I'll give you a sentence starter, and you finish it using the grammar we just learned.
Okay, go for it.
If I practice speaking English for 15 minutes every day,
I would become noticeably more confident within a few months. First conditional? No, wait, that's actually second conditional, since practiced is past tense form with present meaning.
Exactly right. Good catch. Let's do one more. I've already
learned 20 new words today, and it's not even lunchtime. Present perfect connecting the past action to right now.
Beautiful. Grammar might feel technical, but notice every structure we just covered directly supports talking about change. Present perfect for progress you've made, conditionals for imagining different versions of your future or reflecting on your past, modals for realistic hope, and used to for describing the old you.
This is honestly one of my favorite parts of English. Grammar isn't just rules, it's a toolkit for expressing exactly how you think about your own life.
Well said. Let's move on to pronunciation now, because saying all of this clearly and naturally matters just as much as understanding it. Pronunciation practice.
In this section, we're going to slow down and focus on how to say some of today's key words and phrases clearly and naturally. Repeat after us, out loud, even if you feel a little silly doing it.
Let's start with word stress, because in English, putting stress on the wrong syllable can make a word hard to understand, even if every sound is correct.
First word, discipline. The stress is on the first syllable. Discipline, not discipline. Discipline.
Let's say it together, slowly. Dis-sip-lin. Now at normal speed, discipline.
Next, consistency. Stress on the second syllable. Consist-tency. Try it slowly. Consist-tency. Normal speed. Consistency.
Next word, momentum. Stress on the second syllable. Mo-men-tum. Say it with me. Mo-men-tum. Momentum.
Next, accountability. This is a long one, 5 syllables. Account-a-bel-i-ty. The main stress is on the fourth syllable, bill. Let's break it down slowly. Accountability. Now together, accountability.
Excellent. Next, procrastination. Stress on the fourth syllable. Pro-cras-T-nation. Slowly. Pro-cras-T-nation. Now at speed. Procrastination.
Let's move to some tricky sound combinations. First, the th sound in words like though, through, and although. Many learners substitute this with a duh or z sound, but it should be soft, with your tongue lightly between your teeth.
Let's practice. Though. Though. Although. Although. Try this sentence. Although it's difficult, though, I'm going to keep going.
Good. Next tricky sound, the difference between the short I in sit and the long E in seat. This distinction matters a lot in words like living versus leaving or will versus wheel.
Practice pair. This versus these. This, these, this, these. Try the sentence. This is one of these small habits that matters.
Let's also practice linking, which is when English speakers connect words together smoothly in natural speech, rather than pausing between every word.
For example, I've committed to it often sounds like I've committed to it when spoken naturally, all connected. Let's slow it down first. I've committed to it. Now at normal speed, I've committed to it.
Another example, what are you going to do? Often sounds like what you gonna do in very casual speech. That's an extreme example, but it shows how connected English really is in conversation.
Let's practice a full sentence with natural linking and rhythm. Repeat after me, first slowly. If I keep this up, I will surprise myself.
Now at natural speed. If I keep this up, I will surprise myself. Notice how keep this almost blends into one sound, and will surprise flows together smoothly.
One more full sentence. Slowly first. I've started building a new habit, and it's already changing how I feel.
Now naturally. I've started building a new habit, and it's already changing how I feel.
Great work. Let's do one final pronunciation challenge, a full short paragraph. Try reading it out loud with us, focusing on stress and rhythm, not perfect speed.
Here it is. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent actions, repeated daily, even when motivation disappears. If you commit to showing up, even imperfectly, you will build momentum. And over time, that momentum becomes your new identity.
Beautiful. If you want extra practice, pause the video here and read that paragraph out loud 3 times. Focus on stress on the important words: change, small, consistent, commit, momentum, identity.
Pronunciation isn't about sounding like a native speaker exactly. It's about being clear, confident, and comfortable when you speak. Every time you practice out loud, you're building that comfort.
Now, let's bring everything together with a longer, natural dialogue between the two of us, using today's vocabulary and grammar in context. A real conversation, the way people actually talk. Extended natural dialogue, putting it all together.
So, Jamie, if you had to pick one small habit that's genuinely changed something for you, what would it be?
Honestly, it's a simple one. I've started writing down 3 things every night before bed. What went well, what I learned, and one thing I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
That sounds so simple. Has it really made a difference?
It has, actually. Before I started, I used to lie in bed replaying everything that went wrong during the day. Now, I've trained my brain to look for the good stuff instead. It hasn't fixed every problem in my life, but it's completely changed how I fall asleep.
That's such a good example of what we talked about earlier. A tiny, sustainable habit, not a dramatic life overhaul.
Exactly. If I had tried to meditate for an hour every day, I probably would have quit within a week. But 3 sentences? That takes 2 minutes. It's sustainable.
I love that. For me, it's been about how I talk to myself when I make a mistake, especially with English, honestly. I used to be so hard on myself. If I mispronounced a word, I'd feel embarrassed for the rest of the day.
And now?
Now, when I make a mistake, I try to say out loud sometimes, that's just information. Now I know what to practice. It sounds small, but it's changed my whole relationship with learning.
That's such an important shift, especially for anyone watching who feels frustrated with their English progress. Mistakes aren't proof that you're bad at this, they're just data. They're showing you exactly what to work on next.
Right, and if you frame it that way, you're much more likely to keep going instead of giving up out of embarrassment.
I think that connects to something we haven't mentioned yet, the idea of self-compassion. Being kind to yourself isn't the same as being lazy or making excuses.
No, definitely not. Self-compassion actually makes people more resilient, not less disciplined. If you punish yourself harshly every time you fail, you start avoiding the activity completely, just to avoid that bad feeling.
That's such an important point. So if someone missed a day of English practice yesterday, what would you tell them?
I'd say, don't quit because you missed one day. Missing one day is completely normal. What matters is what you do today. One skipped day doesn't erase weeks of progress. But if you use that one skipped day as an excuse to quit completely, that's what actually details everything.
That's such a healthy perspective. It reminds me of something we mentioned earlier, the never miss twice rule. If you miss one day, that's life. But try not to miss 2 days in a row, because that's when a skipped day starts turning into a new, unwanted habit.
I really like that rule. It's forgiving, but it still holds you accountable.
Exactly the balance we want. Now, let's talk about something a little deeper, the emotional side of change. Why do you think people resist changing even when they know a change would genuinely improve their life?
That's such a good question. I think honestly, change is scary because it involves uncertainty. Even a difficult familiar routine feels safer than an unknown, possibly better one.
That's very true. There's a psychological concept for that, the comfort zone. It's not necessarily comfortable in the sense of feeling good, it's comfortable in the sense of feeling familiar and predictable. Homework. Okay, here's your homework for this episode. We're going to keep it simple, specific, and doable. Exactly the kind of small action we talked about today.
First task, write 3 sentences using present perfect, describing something you've already changed or started this month. Doesn't have to be big. I've started drinking more water. Counts completely.
Second task, write 1 second conditional sentence, imagining a change you'd like to make. If I practiced speaking every day, I would feel much more confident.
Third task, choose 1 2-minute version of a habit you want to build and do it today, right after this video ends. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today.
Fourth task, and this one's really important. Comment below and tell us the 1 small habit you're going to start today. Reading other learners' comments is honestly one of the most motivating things you can do. You'll see you're not alone in this.
And if this episode helped you, please consider subscribing to Fluent Daily. We release deep, full episodes like this one regularly, combining real English learning with real conversations about mindset, growth, and life.
A quick favor too, if you found value in this today, hit like and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Sometimes the right video, reaching the right person at the right moment, really does matter.
Before we go, let's do one final recap of everything we covered today, so it really sticks in your memory.
We started by talking about why change is difficult, because most people misunderstand it as a single dramatic event instead of a slow, repeated process.
We explored the difference between motivation and discipline, and how discipline is built through small systems, not personality traits.
We learned 25 powerful vocabulary words and phrases, from habit and discipline to momentum, resilience, and transform.
We covered essential grammar for talking about change, present perfect for describing progress, first, second, and third conditionals for realistic plans, imagined possibilities, and reflections on the past, modals for realistic hope, and used to for describing your old habits.
We practiced pronunciation, word stress, the th sound, vowel distinctions, and natural linking in real sentences.
And we talked honestly about the emotional side of change, comfort zones, self-compassion, and why discomfort isn't the same as danger.
Most importantly, we gave you 5 real, practical steps. Start small, stack your habits, make them visible, track your progress, and expect setbacks without quitting.
This video alone won't change your life, but what you do in the next 5 minutes, that might.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It means a lot that you stayed for the whole episode.
We'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep showing up, one small step at a time.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.